Hi guys, welcome back to another Hermes question and answer video. I do have a playlist for all my question and answer videos that I've already uploaded, so I'll leave a link for that playlist in the description bar down below. Okay, so I'm going to try and continue on with the order of questions that I have. I think that there is one question here that I jumped to the very top of the queue, and I think it's because it's quite an important question and I've been asked this a few times. Do you know if you don't get a bag offer before the end of the year, whether the spend for the quota rolls over till next year? So basically what the question is asking is whatever you have spent in the year, so let's say if you started shopping at Hermes in 2020, does all your spend now roll over to 2021 if you haven't got a quota bag? A quota bag being a Birkin or Kelly, and in some instances, some stores a Constance. They sometimes consider that a quota bag as well. Short answer is yes, your spend will roll over to the next calendar year. Yes, it does. Basically how it kind of works, and take this with a grain of salt because Hermes will say that they don't do link selling. So they don't base what they offer you based on what you spend. They say that it's not about what you spend, okay? And in some cases it's not. Like if you go to France, you can score a bag without having to spend anything, without purchase history. I have heard that in the UK, they actually have a wish list system, so you don't even have to buy anything. You can just go on the wish list, and when a bag becomes available, according to your wish list, they may offer you. So sometimes it's not always the case. However, I tend to feel, and I think most of us can tend to agree, that it is based on showing loyalty, which involves spending, because to show loyalty you have to buy their items and show appreciation for the house. So it's in my opinion your spend towards the quota bag doesn't reset until you actually get offered a quota bag. So let's say you have never actually scored a Birkin or Kelly, then your spend will continue to roll over and continue to roll on until you actually score a Birkin or Kelly. And then let's say hypothetically you score that bag, and on the day, now this is where I'm not 100% sure of, on the day you also buy like say 2 Twillys and a Click H, and say that works out to be like $1,500 Australian. I probably rounded it down a little bit. Say that works out to $1,500 Australian, you buy it on the day when you get your Birkin or Kelly offer. I'm not sure if that spend counts towards the next quota or if it stays with your first quota. That I'm not sure of. The next question is, I was offered a Birkin 25 in color Vert Verone with pink lipstick interior. I'm torn as to whether I should accept it or not. It's my first Birkin and I don't know whether I'm stylish enough to carry a green Birkin. Good question, because I feel like we probably would all be in a situation like this where we get offered something that we didn't quite have on our wish list, but at the same time, we're not sure we want to knock it back as well for a few reasons. I would say the reasons that you should always knock back a bag is if you're immediately thinking that you want to resell it and you're thinking, oh, I'll take it because I could always sell it anyway for a profit. I would say no, don't take it. As if you accept a handbag, a Birkin or a Kelly or a Constance, any of their bags for that matter, and then you buy it with the intention to resell it for a profit, that is a big breach of their terms and conditions. So that's my first answer to that, is if you are thinking of reselling it, don't accept the bag. You should only be accepting bags that you feel in your heart you're gonna at least give it a go, or you're going in with the right intentions to go, yeah, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna see how it goes with some outfits and that sort of thing. And then if you find months and months down the line you still haven't worn the bag, then perhaps that isn't so bad. Probably still might be a bit of a very blurry line right there with Hermes terms and conditions, but I feel like at least you're going in with the right intentions. Now, would I say, should you accept the offer? You're not quite sure if you're stylish enough to carry a green Birkin. I feel like stylishness doesn't really play into it. I feel like you don't have to be stylish to carry anything, because you should always wear what you feel most confident and happy in. So then going to that point is, do you feel happy to accept an offer that wasn't on your wish list? Is this the kind of color that makes your heart sing? You know, do you get a warm fuzzy feeling? You know, are you getting good feels from it? You know, is it giving you a kind of nice happy vibe? And if it is, then that's a good starting point. If you're getting happy and you're super excited about it and you see the color and you're like, oh yeah, this is not what I expected, but wow, it's beautiful, then that's a good thing. But if you're getting offered a bag and you're only getting the happy feeling when it's being unboxed, like, and they're opening up the box, but then you see the bag and then you're a bit shocked that it's not what you wanted, and your heart sinks or your stomach sinks a bit, then that's a bad sign. Then that's probably a sign that, you know what, it's not the right bag for you. And the other thing I want to say about greens and even blues, even though I'm not the biggest blue fan, like royal blue, I'm not the biggest blue fan. I like baby blues and pastel blues or really dark blues. If the color occurs naturally in the environment, you will probably find that you'll easily be able to pair it with your wardrobe. You'll easily be able to wear it. So greens, grass occurs around us. Blue, the sky is blue. Gray, you got gray clouds. Yellow, you got yellow sun. I feel like when the color occurs naturally in the environment, obviously neutrals as well, plenty of shades of browns and grays in the environment. When it occurs naturally in the environment, I feel like that is always when the color is quite easy to wear and you'll be quite surprised. But I feel as though beautiful color, but only take it if it makes your heart sing. Don't ever feel obligated to take a bag because you think you won't get another offer, because I can pretty much guarantee you that you will always get another offer. If you're not happy with it, another one will come. The only problem that I must say when it comes to rejecting a bag is that you can't just drop off the face of the earth. You can't just go, no, I don't want it, and then drop off the face of the earth and then wait for another call. It doesn't really kind of work like that. You might be waiting a long time and there is that little bit of chance where you might get forgotten. Maybe you might get forgotten. So it is usually best to at least stay in mind and still stay in contact with your sales associate. Still pop in and buy something little, whatever it may be. Okay, moving on to the next question. I wanted to ask if putting a Twilly on my bag, which is in Ostrich, will help to prevent patina. Yes, 100%. 100%. So Ostrich is actually quite prone to patina. Any Hermes leather will actually patina. Patina is the process of oils, the natural oils from your hand getting into the leather and soaking into the leather. That is what is called patina. Sometimes patina will just appear glossy and it'll just look like your handle has gotten shiny. Sometimes it'll actually discolor the handle. Sometimes it may completely change the color. So if you have a white bag, the process of patinaing actually tends to go yellow. So if you want to slow down that process, especially because we're using our hands to handle our handbags, like the top handle, then I definitely recommend putting a Twilly on it. And especially with Ostrich, it's a finished leather, but it's kind of like acts a bit like an unfinished leather, and that means that it will patina quicker than say like a Togo bag or a Swift bag. So yeah, if you have an Ostrich bag, I really highly recommend putting Twillys on it if you don't like if you don't like patina or you really want to slow down the process. Okay, moving on to the next question. I'm thinking about the Bolide 31. Do you have any feedback about the bag? So I have the Bolide 27. I don't own the Bolide 31. I do like the Bolide 31. However, I do find that it looks like more of a casual kind of slouchy bag, whereas the Bolide 27, I feel like it can actually transition to night as well because it's a smaller, more structured style of bag. So if you do decide to buy the Bolide 31 from the store, you probably want to be pretty confident that the bag's going to stay in your collection, because if you do need to sell it, you are more than likely going to lose a big chunk of money. You're probably looking at losing around about like $3,000 on having to resell the Bolide 31. One of the things I know that people complain about the Bolide 31 in general is that it does really slouch, especially because it's often in Clemence leather. But what I did actually notice, like in particular the Bolide 27, I can actually use my 7 Rue Paradis insert in the Bolide 27. So if you have a Swift Bolide 27, I recommend getting the Kelly 25 Retorn insert from 7 Rue Paradis to help hold the shape of the bag. I actually think will work with the Bolide 31 is actually the 7 Rue Paradis Kelly 28 Retorn insert, because this is the Kelly 25 insert and it fits in the Bolide 27, the Retorn shape. So I would say, based on the dimensions, because I did have a look at the measurements, that the Kelly 28 Retorn would actually fit in the Bolide 31, and that will help to kind of keep the Bolide more structured, and it'll help to slow down the slouch that tends to happen with Clemence leather. I hope that eventually 7 Rue Paradis will have inserts for every single Hermes bag, so then that way you're not having to kind of compromise. but I'd say that it's still a really good fit. Like when I put this in my bag, the fit is like pretty much like perfect. It just seems to fit so well, but there is that tiny little bit of space on the side, and you would probably find that you'd have the same thing with the Bolide 31 using the Kelly 28 Return insert. I do have coupon codes of favouruites. I'll put them on the screen. It's POF30 to get €30 off one insert, and then POF70 to get €70 off 2 inserts. I get asked a lot, do I really truthfully think that the favouruites inserts are worth it? And yes, 100,000,000,000% yes, they are. They are really worth it. And this is coming from someone who hasn't just, you know, gone to favouruites from the get-go. I tried so many other inserts before, like so many others. I even have a review on my channel showing you pictures of when I used the wrong inserts for my bags and what it did to the shape of the bag and what can happen when leather stretches out that you actually damage the bag permanently. When you use the favouruites inserts in the Hermes bags, you have complete total peace of mind that you're storing it correctly and you're not having to worry about the shape. I will link some Bolide 31s in the description bar down below, well under retail price. So yeah, if you're thinking about the bag, if you're okay with pre-loved, I would say that that's a really good route to save a lot of money. All right, now moving on to the next question. Are you finding color transfer with your Bolide 27? I've been offered a Beton Kelly Dance. I'm a little bit worried about color transfer given that the bag is meant to be worn closer to the body. Basically, yeah, no color transfer at all. It's in amazing condition. I use this bag a lot. This gets used more than my Birkin 30, no doubt about it. I use this more. I'd say that even though it's new to my collection, it's becoming a really close competitor for the Kelly 25, because before I had this, I was using this bag all the time because it has a shoulder strap. I would say that this bag gets used more than my Kelly Dance, because the question did actually say that she was getting offered a Kelly Dance in Beton. I use this more than this, but this is still used pretty regularly as well. I think that as long as you're wearing clothes that are color fast, then you'll have no problems. Mostly my clothes are all color fast. I only had a problem, I'd say twice ever. So once when I had my Kelly 28 in trench, I wore it with black jeans that were new and I hadn't checked if they were color fast yet. I hadn't even given them more than one wash, and black transferred onto the back of that Kelly. I was able to clean it off using leather cleaner, but I think that with Hermes bags, because they are a leather bag, they're not fabric. Obviously they do have fabric canvas bags, but I'm talking, you know, they're leather bags. As long as you actually clean it quickly within, say, the first 6 hours, usually all the color transfer comes off anyway. It doesn't stay. What's actually a problem is if you let it sink into the bag for, say, more than 6 hours and it starts to soak into the leather. That's when you'll probably find you'll have a real problem with removing it. Moving on to the next question. I wanted to ask, how do you like your Kelly to go? I just got offered one in rose confetti. Now, I no longer have my Kelly to go. The reason I no longer have my Kelly to go was because I ended up getting the Kelly Dance in Vert Cricket, which was the same color as the Kelly to go. But I must say that the Kelly to go is not easy to use. It's actually quite annoying because it's a very small, well, it's a wallet and it's very small. And to actually close it, you have to pull the sangles tight on the sides like that just to close it. And you can't just leave the sangles out, because with the Kelly wallet, the sangles just stick out like this. Like, they don't sit flat like that. They just stick out like that. They look very, very weird because there's not much of a flap to actually hold the sangles down like this. Like, there's no thick flap like that. So that's the problem that I found with the Kelly to go, is that problems closing it. I couldn't really fit my car fob in. If I put my car fob in, I couldn't fit my phone in. I do have a Constance wallet, which I revealed on my channel a little while back. And I actually converted it into a Constance to go by using the components from In a Bag Shop. So In a Bag Shop on Instagram. I'll leave a link to the video where I revealed this in the description bar down below, in case anyone is wondering what actually fits in this and how this whole accessory really kind of works. But that's kind of my thoughts on the Kelly to go. I don't really recommend it. I think personally, if I were to get a Kelly to go, I would rather get a Kelly wallet pre-loved for much less and then just buy the components from In a Bag Shop and make my own to go, because then I would be paying half the price, and knowing that it doesn't fit a lot, I'd be more at ease paying a lot less for it. Do classic colors have a higher reselling price than seasonal colors? Short answer, yes, they do. Colors like Hermes Gold, Black, Noir, Etoupe, always in the resale market, I always see them selling for a premium, especially Etoupe and Gold. Some other colors that are considered classic, but not exactly official permanent colors for Hermes. However, you still tend to see them like popping up in Birkins and Kellys, is Etan, Cray as well. Those colors seem to fetch a premium in the resale market as well and hold their value. They are considered to be classic colors, but not permanent colors, and they are classic because they've actually been around for quite some time. They were introduced a long while ago, and they seem to kind of pop back up a little bit more regularly than some of the other seasonal colors. Now, the seasonal colors that you're referring to, say like for example Vert Cricket, that came into spring summer 2020. This is a very hot color, so it does tend to hold its value in the resale market. However, give it another couple years and it may not. So for example, Rose Pourpre came, I think, in autumn, winter or spring, summer 2017. Color, when it first came out, it was selling for a premium in the resale market. But now that a few years have gone by, when you see Rose Pourpre in the resale market, it doesn't sell for as high of a premium anymore. It definitely compared to like Gold or Etan or Cray or Noir, yeah, or Etoupe, it doesn't sell for as high of a premium, or if any premium at all, compared to those other classic colors that I mentioned. You'll probably see that there is a general rule of thumb here, is that usually neutrals hold their value the best, usually. But there is the exception of some colors that still sell for a premium, and that is in particular Rose Sakura and Bubblegum Pink. Is it true that sales associates are not taking new clients on waitlist? I haven't heard that sales associates are not taking new clients on waitlist. I think that what it will depend on is if your store has a waitlist or not. Okay, so I have heard that in the UK, they do have a waitlist or wish list where you can actually wish for a bag that you're after in a certain color. So say you're wanting a Birkin 30 in red, you can put that on your wish list and you don't even have to have a spending history. And eventually when it comes, you will get a call. If you don't get a call, you might just want to pop in and just check that you're still on the wish list, wait list, whatever you want to call it. In Sydney, we used to have a wait list. Now officially we don't. Like, we officially had one and now we don't. It is totally closed. But yeah, there are other stores that have wait lists. So it really will just depend on your store. If your sales associate isn't taking new clients on the wait list, then it sounds as though the wait list is closed at your store. Sometimes they do reopen. I would just say that the best thing to do is to just build a relationship with the store, stay with a single sales associate. It isn't very definitive. Hermes is always quite a mystery, and no matter how many times I film these videos and try to help you guys and explain and give details, is that it will never be 100% like spot on, because it does vary per store and it can change. Like, things can just change. Like, I have heard of things changing in Canada very recently. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful somewhat. Don't let that deter you because there's no official wait list. Is Cray or light color on Epsom leather easier to maintain from color transfer? So again, I will use my Bolide 27 as an example, and I can also use my Constance wallet as an example, and I would say yes. Epsom, I'm not the biggest fan of Epsom, and I have said this in my videos before, that I find that in my experience with bags that I have owned in Epsom, that they have tended to scratch and reveal like a white cast underneath when they do scratch. And usually it's indicative of color. Like, if you have a color that needs a white base to bring out a certain tone, like a pastel lighter tone, and when it gets scratched, that's when it usually exposes white. Whenever I do want a light bag, I usually prefer them in Epsom because they actually are much easier to keep clean. I actually find that scratches don't show on really light colors like Blanc, Cray, Beton. When they're on Epsom, I find that I don't have a problem with any scratches. Like, there is probably scratches on this bag, but I can't even really see them. Color transfer, no issues. Nothing on this, nothing on this. Been pretty easy to keep clean. So I definitely recommend Epsom for really light colors. Like, the absolute best option I would say is actually Epsom, or Tadillac, because Tadillac is a very smooth leather with no grain whatsoever, and it's actually got like a transparent top coat over it, which helps to protect the bag even more. Okay, I'm gonna answer 2 more questions. Which of these bags would you recommend for me to buy next? A Constance 18 or 24 or Bolide 27? I currently have a Birkin 25, a Pinkerton 22, and a Kelly 25. First thing I want to say is buy what makes your heart sing. Don't let my decision influence you. But if you're wanting my general advice, based on what you kind of have, I would say that probably a Constance 18 may be a good option, or a Bolide 27. I feel like the Constance 24, you either have to be okay with the fact that you may not be able to use it carried on the longest length of your shoulder. If you like to wear chiffon dresses like this or chiffon shirts, it tends to slip off. You usually have to double strap it to help prevent that. And you also have to be okay with the fact that it's a large H buckle, so it might show scratches, but it does have great capacity. The Constance 18 would be a really good option because it's going to be crossbody as well. Providing you're not 6 foot, you generally can wear the Constance 18 crossbody. It is quite small, but you do have bigger bags in your collection. Like the Pinkerton 22 is a really good size bag. It fits a lot. And the Birkin 25 is a decent small size bag. Otherwise, the Bolide 27, I would also recommend that because I feel like it's a really carefree shoulder bag. It's really lightweight, where you might be in situations where you want a shoulder bag but you don't want to use your Kelly 25 because it's not appropriate. Your Pinkerton 22 is exclusively a top handle bag, and the same with the Birkin 25. So the Bolide would be a really good addition as well, because then you'll have a really lightweight shoulder bag. So lightweight, like this bag is so lightweight. Then you've got the shoulder strap as well, and you've also got a top handle. It can go from day to night. It's a really nice sort of structured design. You can get it in Swift leather, you can get it in Epsom. Get some really good deals on the Bolide 27 in the pre-loved market, so I'll have some of them linked down below in the description bar. But yeah, I would say Constance 18 or the Bolide 27. I couldn't really say specifically which one would be best for you. I just would rule out the Constance 24. If you are like me and you've got kids and you need a bit more capacity sometimes, then maybe perhaps the Bolide 27. Or if you have other bags in your collection that already have more capacity and you want to add like a really elusive kind of Hermes bag, then I'd go the Constance 18. Hopefully that kind of helped. Okay, last question is, can Epsom become slouchy? Now, it will definitely depend on the bag. So let's say, for example, we're going to use my Bolide 27 again. This has made a real like massive appearance today on the video. In a design like this where it's actually quite structured. So if you look around it, it's got a really structured sort of design. It's got a piped base. So the base is actually piped, which helps with the actual shape of the bag, maintaining that structure. And then it's got these outside stitches. So the stitches are on the outside of the bag, helping with the structure of the bag on both sides. And then you've also got this stitch that runs all the way along the bag, which helps with the support of the top handle as well. So an Epsom Bolide 27 won't slouch over time. It would pretty much almost always hold its shape for a very long period of time, if not forever. However, if you had an Epsom Evelyne, where it's only a single lined leather bag, that is where you'll actually see that it slouches from the get-go. It's going to be more soft and not like the typical Epsom that you see in structured designs of bags. The same can also be said for the Pinkerton. So if you have a Pinkerton Tressage, which is actually made in Epsom, you'll actually notice that from the get-go, it is already going to be soft, because the Pinkerton is actually single lined piece of leather as well. So it's got no double lining. I use the Favouruites Paradise insert inside to help with the shape of the bag, which makes a massive difference. So if you had an Epsom Pinkerton Tressage, I would suggest, even though it's Epsom, and some people say, oh, but Epsom holds shape, you definitely still need to get one of the Favouruites Paradise inserts to help with the shape of the bag, because Epsom will slouch in a single lined leather bag. This is also from In a Bag Shop as well, this little baby Pinkerton bag charm. So yes, overall, Epsom leather does hold shape on most bags, except it can become slouchy and will be slouchy pretty much from the get-go on those single line bags like the Evelyne and the Pinkerton Dressage. Yes, that is it. I'm going to end this question and answers here. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to add any more questions, something I haven't answered, then put a question in the comments down below or send me a DM on Instagram, or you can also message me on my Facebook page, Purseonfleek. That is it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.